Hi all, welcome to Tech Forum. In this video, let us talk about the details of Adobe Edge Delivery Services, also called as EDS. What is AEM Edge Delivery Services? AEM Edge Delivery Services is Adobe's newest way of developing web pages. Edge Delivery Services is a technology that simplifies digital content management with a serverless microservices and composable architecture. EDS was previously known by various names, including Adobe Franklin, Project Helix, and AEM Next Gen Composability. With EDS, you can streamline your web content creation process by directly importing content from familiar sources like Microsoft Word, Excel, or Google Docs. Imagine turning your documents into web pages in just a few clicks. EDS is also capable of consuming content from AEM, whether it is authored through the specific editor or through the content fragment editor. One of the key features of EDS is its decoupled content repositories. This allows for content management externally through platforms like SharePoint, Google Drive, or even AEM. The front-end layer then fetches and displays this content on the website. The author can preview the content before publishing. Once you publish the new content, the cache is immediately invalidated so that your audience always sees the latest content quickly. EDS uses JavaScript to parse the Google Docs or Word documents and generates the necessary HTML to render the document as a web page. The developers can code on Edge Delivery Services using basic HTML, JavaScript, and CSS without the need of any special frameworks. This simplifies the development process. The Edge Delivery Services uses GitHub. This enables customers to manage and deploy the code directly from their GitHub repositories. As a serverless platform, Edge Delivery Services simplifies both the development pipeline and the deployment steps. Being serverless means there is no need for time-consuming environment setup. Simply creating a new GitHub branch allows for separate testing of changes. The primary goal of EDS is to build websites with good performance and an optimal LITO score, aiming for perfect 100. The websites built using the boilerplate templates provided by EDS typically achieve this 100 LITO score. EDS uses lazy, eager, and delayed resource loading methods to improve the website performance. Also, real user monitoring is enabled to assist the developer to understand the performance impacts. The next one is the content authoring process with EDS is simplified. That means no special knowledge is required for authoring. The content can be quickly authored using familiar tools and easily transformed into a website pages. If you see this diagram, you can see a CDN layer, it is external. Also Edge Delivery Services layer. So Edge Delivery Services layer can consume the content from document based authoring, means Word, Google Docs, Excel, Google Sheets. Also it can consume AEM content, either page editor based content or universal visual editor based content fragment editor based content. So the same content can go to AEM publish as a normal flow, or it can be used by Edge Delivery Services. Let us see the quick view on the architecture. If you see this diagram, Edge Delivery Services layer, the Edge Delivery Services layer consists of Experience Composition Service and Content Hub. The composition layer enables Edge Delivery, means delivering the HTML and JSON based on the actual content. Then CDN layer, the CDN layer enabled within Edge Delivery Services. Then serverless and edge compute to process the content and deliver the content. Then if you see here Content Hub, this stores all the structured and unstructured content fetched from the external data sources, also assets and media, and also code deployed to the Edge Delivery Services. The top layer, the customer's existing CDN can be leveraged. Also, we can configure custom domains for the website. The bottom layer, different content sources. It can be AEM or document based authoring through Google Docs, Google Sheets, also Word and Excel files from SharePoint. If you see this diagram, when the content is previewed by the author, the Edge Delivery Services fetch the content from the sources and store the content in cloud. Also enable the preview page URL. Now when the author publishes the content, The preview content is published to the Edge Delivery Services CDN that updates the existing content. Also, the cache is purged from the customer CDN. Finally, the code changes from GitHub deployed to Edge Delivery Services. If you see this diagram, the existing pages authored with page editors are supported by Edge Delivery Services. But a converter on App Builder will be required to convert the AEM rendered HTML output and send it to the Edge Delivery Services. This approach should be an intermediate step or phase 1 to move to Edge Delivery Services. Here you can continue to use your existing AEM site structure, components and authoring tools. The website rendering will be rebuilt by using EDS blocks. If you see this diagram, the content and pages are authored through Universal Editor in AEM. And there is no need for converter app. The content is directly consumed by EDS blocks without using any converter. This is the ideal scenario to author the content in AEM through Universal Editor and render the pages and content through Edge Delivery Services. Let us now quickly see the important components of Edge Delivery Services. The first one is block. A block is a reusable part of a page that is rendered differently from standard content. By default, EDS just render whatever is in a document as it is. But if you want special features or looks for some content, you can put it in a table with the first row being the block name. Let us see more details later in the video. Block collections. This collection of blocks is part of EDS and recommended as blueprints for your project blocks. Let us see what is boilerplate. Boilerplate is the most commonly used blocks like headings, images and sections. Those are included in the EDS boilerplate. They are part of every project. Refer here to understand the boilerplate blocks. There are more blocks: headings, text, images, list, links and lot more. You can refer here. The block collection contains blocks that are commonly used but are not so common to be considered as boilerplate. Example: embed, fragment and more. You can refer here for more details. Another category is block party. The blocks developed by developer community. These blocks can be used in your project if required. Sidekick. The Sidekick extension is a browser extension, helps to perform various operations specific to EDS like edit, publish, reload, unpublish, delete. The Sidekick can be customized and extended as required. Forms. EDS has a built-in forms engine that can store form submission data in Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets. GitHub bot. We need to install GitHub app called AEM Code Sync. This listens to the code changes and publishes code to Edge Delivery Services. Also purges the CDN caches. Plugins. You can define various plugins and add to the Sidekick library to support various operations. For example, AEM Assets plugin. This enables the authors to pull the assets directly into the documents from AEM Assets. AEM CLI. This allows the developers to test the EDS code changes in their local machine. This acts like a simulator and proxy, sends the content request to EDS preview server and applies the JS and CSS from local machine. RUM, Real User Monitoring Service, that checks how fast your site is for visitors in the real world. This gives you more accurate performance data than lab results like the Lito score. CDN. Edge Delivery Services uses Fastly CDN. Two set of CDNs are enabled. One is outer CDN, then inner CDN. Outer CDN, this acts as a middle layer. The live pages are served from here, means the domain star.hlx.live. The main branch from GitHub repository is mapped to this CDN. Inner CDN, the preview pages are served from here, means the domains star.hlx.page. No caching, immediate preview of changes. The GitHub branches other than main map to this CDN. Bring your own CDN. Customers can use their existing CDN infrastructure. This should be in front of the EDS Fastly CDN. As of now, Fastly, Akamai, Cloudflare and CloudFront CDNs are supported. The CDN caching is automatically purged by EDS services based on the changes. Experimentation. The built-in experimentation framework allows you to easily create and run tests without slowing down performance. With the AEM experimentation plugin, you can quickly set up experiments and segmentation for your AEM project. It supports serving different content to different audience, including custom audience definitions. You can also serve varied content based on marketing campaigns and run A/B tests to improve conversion rates on your sites. Custom headers. This allows you to enable custom response headers through header Excel file or Google Sheet. You can define patterns to apply the custom response headers to specific URLs. Redirects. The URL redirects, which redirects user from one URL to another, can be enabled by adding rules to the redirects Excel file or Google Sheet. Indexing and sitemap. These modules helps you to index the pages and generate sitemaps. The default behavior of the indexing and sitemap can be customized through corresponding YAML file. You need to create query-index Excel file or spreadsheet with required sheet raw-index for indexing. Metadata. This module allows you to enable various metadata, example canonical tag, OG tags, etc. to the pages. The metadata can be added to specific pages through patterns. The metadata can be added through metadata block at a page level, or the bulk metadata can be defined through metadata Excel file or Google Sheet. The metadata added via the metadata block takes precedence over bulk metadata. Spreadsheets. EDS translates any Excel file or Google Sheets data to JSON that can be easily consumed by websites. If your website need any JSON data, you can store that data as a spreadsheet and EDS convert the data to JSON and expose it. Preview and publish. When your content is ready, you can use Sidekick extension to preview the content and publish the content updates to live website. AEM Assets plugin. As we discussed earlier, AEM Assets plugin allows the content authors to consume the assets from AEM Assets into SharePoint or Google Documents. Slack bot. AEM Slack bot enables dedicated Slack channel for AEM customers to get answers from Adobe team for your queries. Also, AEM Slack bot allows you to add videos or large images to your documents. Let us now quickly see some of the important code and content repository configurations. fstab.yaml file. This file tells EDS where the content for your site is coming from, Google Drive or Microsoft SharePoint. Currently only one mount point is supported for each project. Let me quickly open the fstab.yaml file for my sample project. So if you see here fstab.yaml file, root of the project. So let me click on this. Here I am specifying mount points / mounted to my Google Drive. Next one is helix-sitemap.yaml. As we discussed earlier, the default sitemap behavior can be modified through this file. Let me quickly open helix-sitemap.yaml file in my project. So if I open this, I customize some of the behavior. I will be posting more detailed video on this topic later. Next one is helix-query.yaml file. As we discussed earlier, the default indexing behavior can be modified through this file. Let me quickly open the file in my project, helix-query.yaml. So I did some customization to my indexing behavior. Maybe the same case, I will be posting a detailed video later on this. Head.html. This includes all the relevant tags within the head tag of a standard HTML code. Also, this includes the required JavaScript and styles to render the content and blocks. This is the head.html content. This should remain unchanged unless necessary changes are required. Sidekick tools config.json. This allows you to define and enable various plugins and tools for the Sidekick. This is my config.json in my project. If you see here, I enabled the AEM Asset Library plugin. 404.html. When you access or click on a link that doesn't exist, the server returns you to the 404 page. Your project specific 404 page content can be configured through this 404.html file. .hlx ignore. During website rendering, the code is crawled by an AEM bot. You can specify the files that need to be excluded from crawling in .hlx ignore. Robots.txt. Robots.txt tells search engine crawler which URLs the crawler can access on your website. Specify required crawler setting here. You can specify for all the user agent or specific to a user agent. Allow everything, then I am disallowing the internal links. Also you can specify the sitemap URL. One or two other important files. One is favicon.ico. You can specify the favicon for your website. Then another one is sitemap-index.html. If required, you can generate a sitemap index file. Let's say your site has multiple language. You can use this sitemap index file. The blocks folder contains the styles and JavaScript for different blocks you defined in your project. Example, cards. If I go here, cards.css, it's a style for this particular block. Then cards.js, how to render the cards block. Same with columns, then how to display footer. Same thing with the fragment and other blocks too. Also, if you go to this scripts folder, it contains the default scripts like am.js, delayed.js and script.js. Also same with the style, some of the global styles are defined here. Let us now quickly see some of the authoring related configuration. .helix/config file. Here you can specify project specific configurations, for example custom domain, also customer CDN domain related configurations for cache invalidation. Let me quickly open the config file. The file is located inside .helix folder at the root level. So let me click on this config. Here if you see, I am specifying host, the custom domain for my website www.example.com. Like this, you can specify other configurations like CDN domain related configurations and others. Next one is header file inside .helix folder. As we discussed earlier, in this file, you can configure the required custom headers. Let me open the headers file. Headers. If you see here, I am specifying some headers like access control, allow origin, also some test header. So here if you see some pattern /* means for all the URLs, this is getting applied. Then /en/* only for en subfolder pages, this is getting applied. So here we need to maintain the order because the headers are applied in the order it is defined. If you are not maintaining the order, the headers may get overridden by the latest rules. Next one is JSON data. As we discussed earlier, you can expose any Excel table data as a JSON endpoint. This can be consumed by the website. The file can be in any name, including data. The URL for the JSON data is generated based on the Excel file name. Let me quickly open this data file. If I open this, it has name, value, pair, name 1, value 1, name 2, value 2. You can specify any table data. The same can be exposed as a JSON endpoint. Next is metadata. As we discussed earlier, the metadata file helps to define metadata for different pages. Let me open this metadata file. If you see here, I am specifying two metadata. One is test, another one is test1. The value for test is test-value and test1-value for test1. These all applied for /* means for all the pages. But you can define different patterns as required. Next one is redirects. As we discussed earlier, the required URL redirects can be enabled through this redirects file. Let me open my redirects file. Double click. So if you see here, I am saying if /test comes in, the URL redirect to www.allbinsblog.com. If /test2 redirect to www.google.com. You can specify any number of redirects you require. Next one is placeholders file. This placeholders file helps to define string variable that can be used across the websites. Mainly useful to support labels for multi-language websites. Let me open the file quickly. If I go inside en, I have a placeholders file. Let me open that. Now if you see here, key, then text, welcome, welcome. So let me also go inside ES folder. ES, if I again open placeholders, So if you see here welcome, the value is in Spanish. Like this you can define multiple strings as required. And this same can be used to render different language labels in your website. Next one is query index. As we discussed earlier, the query index file store the document details for indexing. The entries are added or removed whenever new content is published or existing content deleted. Let me quickly open the query index file. If you see here, it's listing all the pages for indexing, /es, es test page, es footer and es nav. I will be posting a detailed video on this indexing topic later. Let us now quickly see the details on content authoring. If you see here, the content can be grouped under sections. The section can include default content and also different blocks. If you see the generated code, the blocks add wrapper classes based on the block name and the extra information on blocks. This can be used to apply special functionalities and styles to the block. Also, you can apply section level styles if required. If you see here, sample block, columns block. So first row contains column, that is the block name, then the block content. So column 1, then image and title, then column 2 image title, column 3 image title. So if you see here, this is the variation to this block. So columns, then again same block name, but if you see here, there is additional parameters wide. So you can apply different style based on this additional parameters. If you see here, another standard block for pages, metadata, you can specify metadata detail through this block. Again the name is metadata on the first row, then you can specify all the required metadatas here, title, description, author, footer and nav. You can specify even more metadata as required. Let me quickly open one of the document, index. If you see here, there is a hero image, then the content, then again you can see a block, columns block, specify how many columns and the content, also some default content, again another block, cards, specify all the card details here, then again specifying a style, highlight, this is the section level style you can specify. So if you see here, this 3 hyphen, this is the section break, you can specify this is a different section. So with this you can apply different style for each sections. Then the metadata block as we discussed, so specified in this page. Even you can enable fragments. If you see here, footer and nav, these are fragments. What does that mean is these fragments can be reused across different pages. So the same footer and nav reused in index page, also any other page can reuse the same footer and nav. So if I open this footer, same thing again, it says specifying some metadata for this page, robots, then no index, no follow, then the footer date. Any document changes can be quickly previewed and published if it modified. So if you see here preview, it will open the preview link. Yes, if it is modified, it shows you publish. Maybe I will post another detailed video on this authoring topic. One watch out here is the blocks cannot be nested currently. Also there is a mechanism called auto blocking. Auto blocking turns default content and metadata into blocks without author having to physically create them. As we discussed earlier, the blocks are defined by authors, so with the block name and block content, but through this auto blocking, the default content along with required metadata automatically converted into blocks through this auto blocking mechanism. Let us see more details on auto blocking in upcoming video. Let us quickly talk about performance benefit of edge delivery websites. Performance of the website is one of the major focus of edge delivery services. Expected to achieve perfect 100 Lighthouse score. The websites based on boilerplate template provide 100 Lighthouse score. But your custom code can impact the score. Continuous improvement is critical. Some of the highlights on EDS handling website performance. The edge delivery services optimally uses the browser's resource loading flow to achieve the better performance. Load eager, the LCP content and LCP images are loaded eagerly. Then delayed loading is used for the mobile devices having limited CPU power. Lazy loading, rest of the page is loaded in order top to bottom. Also lazy styles are lazy loaded. Also off-screen images loaded lazily. Edge delivery services uses optimized load order. Means the resources are loaded when required based on these one of the load mechanism. The website performance and core web vitals are continuously monitored. EDS uses real user monitoring tools to continuously monitoring the websites. That helps to understand how the website is behaving for your visitors and to implement the required improvements. EDS automatically optimizes the images. It always provides properly sized images for the browser. The images are always served in next-gen format, example WebP. The content cached at edge level for better performance. As we discussed, to continuously have the better performance and lighter score, we need to ensure EDS best practices are followed. Let us quickly see the edge delivery services workflow. If you see here, there is a boilerplate template hosted on GitHub by Adobe. Then create your own project repository based on this boilerplate template. Create required branches. Mostly the main branch is for live website, and you can create multiple additional branches for testing different changes. Then install the GitHub bot AEM code sync to your EDS GitHub repository. As we discussed earlier, this particular bot build the code and deploy to EDS and also initiate the cache purging. Now check out the code to your local machine. Use your favorite editor for development. Use AEM Simulator plugin for your local website testing. As we discussed earlier, AEM Simulator brings the content from the content repository and applies the code and style changes from local. Again, the content path is configured through the fstab.yaml file. Commit and send the changes to GitHub repository whenever you are ready. That triggers the build, quality check and deployment to EDS. On content authoring side, the content authors can create content, preview and publish the content whenever ready. So if you see here, the content can be authored through SharePoint or Google Drive right now. So whenever the content author preview through inner CDN, you can preview the content .page URL. So whenever the content is ready, you want to publish the content. It goes to outer CDN, publish, then live URL, .live URL. Also customers can have own CDN. Parallelly, the published content is available through the customer CDN. EDS fetches the content from content repository as a markdown. Let us quickly see the step-by-step setup details. Some of the details we already discussed may be repeated. As a first step, create a new GitHub repository based on the boilerplate template, the AEM boilerplate template. Install GitHub bot to the repository from https://github.com/apps/AEM code sync. You should be able to access the sample website through this URL pattern https:// the branch, let's assume main, _repo repository name, then owner name, the repository owner .hlx.page. This is the preview URL. Then same thing .hlx.live, it is a live URL. The sample starter content from Adobe is available here. You can refer to that. Even you can upload this sample content to your repository. The folder should be shared with helix@adobe.com with edit access. Also, you should update fstab.yaml with your own Google Drive folder path. One watch out here, if you upload this starter content to your Google Drive, you should save as all the document as Google Docs and workbooks as Google Sheets. Then install the Sidekick browser add-on from here. So also you need to enable the Sidekick for the project. Now you can update the content, preview the content and publish. For local testing, you can clone the GitHub repository to local as we discussed. Install AEM CLI, npm install -g at adobe/aem-cli. Then cd to the repository. Just type AEM space up. This start the AEM simulator in local. Now you can enable the changes and test. Once ready, send your changes to remote repository. This is the sample EDS website repository, Lighthouse 100, my website. So you can see here blogs and all those details. Now if I go to fstab.yaml file, this pointing to this starter content. If you access the website, you will see the default website, main double hyphen my website, then double hyphen then lighthouse100.hlx.page. So you should not be able to edit it because it's a starter content. You will not have access. You can just review this. So but as we discussed, you can point to your own content repository and start edit, preview and publish. As we discussed earlier, we should enable the Sidekick plugin to the project. If I go here, you can see AEM Sidekick. Click on this, add to this project. This fine. Again, other options like if you click this, you can remove this project, disable this project, you can view the document source, also extension options. If I go, so if you see your project preview, this is the link, then content, Google Drive, you can edit it. Also you can control other configurations. This is the markup the EDS is going to receive from the content repository. So if you see here, index.md, so you can see the markup structure here. So the different blocks and default content. So EDS is going to use this markup to render the content into web page. The markup extension is the document name.md. Let us quickly see some of the benefits of Edge Delivery Services. This enhances the authoring efficiency by separating the source of content and using familiar tools like Word document and Google Docs. Also, this simplifies the authoring flow because there is no extensive authoring knowledge is required as we are using the known tools to author the content. Develop the functionalities through basic JavaScript, HTML and CSS. This simplifies the development flow as we are using the standard tools and technologies for development. Build websites with good performance and Lighthouse score. Then continuously track site performance and efficiency using real user monitoring tools. This supports both AEM authored content and document based content. This enables integrated experimentation framework for testing variations and to roll out successful test results without impacting the performance. Minimal learning curve for both developers and content authors. This integrates with AEM DAM for assets. Publishing the content immediately invalidates the cache, means cache on demand. The users will quickly see the latest content always. The Edge Delivery Services is a serverless platform, so the development pipeline and the deployment steps are simplified. Also, there is no need of setting up complex environments. Creating a GitHub branch allows the changes to be tested separately. The websites can go live quickly, maybe not in months, maybe in weeks. Let us quickly see some of the additional info related to EDS. The page URLs are created from document paths and name. Use only lowercase alphanumeric characters, means A to Z, 0 to 9 and dash in file names. EDS does not perform any custom server-side rendering. GitHub repository is mandatory. GitHub Enterprise server is not supported, while GitHub Enterprise Cloud is supported. AEM does not require any front-end framework. However, it can be used with frameworks like React, Angular and others. The branch name, repo, owner, combination of your subdomain that's specified in the URL segment cannot exceed 63 characters. Currently, each project can have only one mount point. I created a sample project with most of the configurations like whatever we discussed, robots.txt, helix, query.yaml and other configuration files. Also, if I go to my content repository, I created a multi-language website. If I go here, so I have ENES and all the configurations file I created. I will be sharing these links. Also, I am planning for upcoming videos to deep dive on each sections. As we discussed earlier, if I go to any of this folder, let's say EN, if I go here, share, if I go here, if you see already this folder is shared with helix@adobe.com. Now you can edit any content, preview and publish. If I go here EN, let me go open index.html. You can modify any content, then say preview. This will open the preview URL. Now if you want, you can publish also. Now with this live URL. In summary, EDS offers a great approach for quickly launching websites. It simplifies content authoring by allowing authors to use familiar tools and streamlines the development process through the use of JavaScript, HTML and CSS without the need for additional frameworks. However, if necessary, UI frameworks can still be utilized. Websites developed with EDS are optimized for performance, achieving perfect Lighthouse scores. and they enable real user monitoring to continuously assess and enhance website performance. The current challenge lies in enabling dynamic functionalities, secure backend integrations, scheduling, and other backend operations. It is anticipated that Adobe will introduce new features, including edge functions, to address some of these constraints. Thanks all for watching the video. See you all in the next video.